Hello, my friends. You're watching and listening to the Speakeasy English Show. And I'm really happy you're here today. Truly. Maybe this video just appeared on your screen. Maybe you've watched us before. Maybe you're listening quietly, without liking or subscribing yet. And that's okay.
Yes, it's completely okay. But if you're here right now, if you're still listening, it probably means something touched you. Maybe English feels hard. Maybe speaking makes you nervous. Maybe you just want a calm place to learn.
And if this space feels gentle to you, if it feels safe, if it feels like someone is finally slowing down with you, then I'd love for you to stay with us. You can like this video, not to help the algorithm, but to tell yourself, yes, this kind of learning works for me. And you can subscribe, not because you have to, but because your English deserves patience.
This channel is for learners who don't like pressure, for learners who think too much, for learners who want to speak but need time. If that sounds like you already belong here.
So thank you for being here, whether you're new or you've been quietly listening for a while. Today, we're talking about a very small moment, but one that feels very big inside. That moment after hi. You say hello. The other person smiles and says hello back, and for a second, everything feels okay. And then there's a pause. Not a loud pause, not a dramatic pause, just a small, quiet moment. But inside, it feels big.
And in that pause, your mind starts racing. Not because you wanted to, not because you're doing something wrong. It just happens. What should I say now? Did I wait too long? Is this awkward? Am I supposed to ask something? What if I say the wrong thing? And suddenly, your chest feels a little tight. Your words feel far away. I've seen this moment so many times, in classrooms, at work, in everyday life, and I want you to hear this clearly. This is completely normal.
If you freeze after hi, it does not mean your English is bad. It does not mean you're shy. It does not mean you're awkward. It does not mean you failed. It means your brain is waiting for direction. Your brain is asking, what comes next? Where do I go from here? And when the brain doesn't see a clear path, it does something very human. It pauses. And today, we're not here to judge that pause. We're here to help it. We're going to give your brain some very safe directions, small ones, gentle ones, directions that don't create pressure, so you don't feel lost in that moment anymore. Hi feels easy because it's automatic. You've said it your whole life. You don't think about it. Your mouth just knows what to do. But after hi, your brain suddenly wakes up, and now it has to choose.
Choose a topic. Choose a sentence. Choose the right thing to say. And all of this happens in 1 second. So many choices. So many possibilities. And when there are too many choices, the brain feels pressure. And when the brain feels pressure, it doesn't speak. It stops. Not because you don't know English, but because your brain is trying to protect you from saying something wrong.
That silence you feel, that hesitation, it's not weakness. It's your brain saying, wait, let me be careful. So today, we're not going to fight your brain. We're not going to push it. We're not going to say, just be confident. Instead, we're going to work with it. So today, we're not going to be creative. We're not going to be clever. We're going to be comfortable. Here's the big truth. After hi, you don't need a smart sentence.
You don't need a funny line. You don't need to impress anyone. You don't need perfect grammar.
You don't need to explain your life. You don't need to sound fluent. You only need one simple next line.
Just enough to keep the door open. That's it. Not a big door, not a perfect door, just a small opening.
Because conversations don't continue because of good English. They continue because of easy English. English that feels natural. English that feels safe. And once that door is open, the pressure goes down, your breathing slows, your thoughts feel clearer, and suddenly speaking doesn't feel so scary anymore.
So if today's lesson gives you just one sentence you can use after hi, that's not small. That's powerful. Because that one sentence can change how you feel in real life. And that's where real confidence begins. Quietly, gently, one safe line at a time.
Before we begin, I want you to remember something. You are not here to sound smart. You are not here to impress anyone. You are not here to say the perfect thing. You are here to say the next safe thing. That's it. And we're going to do this gently, together. Tool 1. Comment on the moment. The easiest thing to say is something that feels expected. Expected sentences are powerful because your brain already knows them. There is no surprise. There is no danger. There is no pressure to be creative. Expected English feels safe.
Like, hi, how are you? Hey, nice to see you. Oh, good to see you again. These sentences may feel simple, but that's exactly why they work. They don't ask your brain to decide too much. They don't force you to think fast. They just flow.
Many learners think simple English is weak English, but simple English is usable English. When you say something expected, the other person relaxes too. And when both people feel relaxed, conversation becomes easier. Expected English is safe English, and safe English keeps the moment moving. Tool 2. Simple context sentence. Another easy option is to say why you're there. Not a long explanation, not a story, just one simple line.
I just arrived. I'm here for work. I'm waiting for a friend. I'm on my way home. That's it. You're not starting a speech. You're not explaining your whole life. You're just sharing the moment you're in.
This works because your brain loves clarity. When you say where you are or what you're doing, your brain relaxes. It says, okay, I know what this conversation is about. And that calm feeling helps your voice come out.
And here's something important. You don't need to add anything more. You don't need details. You don't need perfect grammar. One sentence is enough to keep the connection alive.
Remember this. You are not responsible for carrying the whole conversation. You are only responsible for taking the next step. And one simple context sentence is a perfect next step. Now let's keep it going, gently.
Short questions are your best friend. How about you? And you? Busy today? How's your day? These questions don't feel heavy. They don't feel personal or risky. They feel normal.
Light questions reduce pressure because they share the conversation. You're not talking alone anymore. You're inviting the other person in. And when the other person speaks, your brain gets a small break. That break is important.
And if you ever feel stuck again, you can always return to one of these. You don't need new questions every time. You don't need variety. Repeating safe questions is not boring, it's smart.
So let's review softly. After hi, you can comment on the moment, say why you're there, and ask a short, easy question. That's all. Not 3 at once, just 1.
One small sentence can change the whole moment, because silence doesn't mean failure, it just means your brain needs help choosing. And now you have choices, safe ones.
You don't need confidence first. You don't need perfect English. You only need one safe line to keep the door open. And that's how conversations grow. Not suddenly, not loudly, but gently, one small sentence at a time. Now, let's practice together. And before we begin, I want you to hear this clearly. There is no pressure here. There is no performance here. No one is testing you. No one is judging your English. This moment is just for you. You can speak out loud or quietly in your mind. Both are learning. Both are real practice.
Yes, both are perfect. If your voice feels shy today, that's okay. If you don't want to speak yet, that's okay too. Listening is not passive. Listening is learning. So let's begin slowly and kindly.
After hi, take a small breath. Relax your shoulders. How are you? That's it. You don't need to say more. That one sentence already keeps the conversation alive.
Great, that's enough. Notice something important. You didn't explain anything. You didn't think hard. You just spoke, and nothing bad happened. Nice to see you. Yes, that already works. This sentence is simple, but it feels warm. It tells the other person, I'm here with you. And that feeling matters more than perfect English.
Now let's try another one. Remember, one sentence is enough. I just arrived. Good. This sentence does something very helpful. It gives context. It gives your brain a place to stand. You don't need details. You don't need explanation. Just this one line is enough.
And now, let's gently pass the conversation back. How about you? Beautiful. That's a very powerful sentence because now you're not alone in the conversation. You shared, and you invited the other person to share too.
Now, pause for a moment. I want you to notice something. You just practiced 4 sentences. Not loudly, not perfectly, but real sentences. And if your voice felt slow, that's okay. If your pronunciation felt unsure, that's okay. If you only said them in your mind, that's okay. Practice does not need volume. Practice needs safety.
Let me tell you something important. Many learners believe practice only counts when it feels confident. But that's not true. Practice counts when it feels a little uncomfortable and you still stay with it. Even listening right now is teaching your brain something new. It's learning the rhythm, the calm, the flow of English.
Now, imagine this in real life. You say hi, the other person says hi, and instead of freezing, your brain remembers just one line. Nice to see you. Or, how are you? Or, I just arrived. That's it. You don't need to choose the best one. Anyone is enough. Because the goal is not to be impressive. The goal is to keep the moment alive.
And if you forget everything else later, that's okay too. You can come back to this practice. You can listen again. you can repeat just one sentence. Learning English is not about speed, it's about familiarity. And familiarity grows when you practice gently.
So before we move on, I want you to do one small thing today. Just one. After hi, say one sentence, out loud, or quietly, or even just in your mind. That one sentence is enough, because every time you practice like this, your brain learns a new message. I don't need to panic. I know what to say next. I can stay in the conversation. And that message changes everything. One calm sentence at a time. I once had a learner who always said hi perfectly. Clear voice, polite smile, good eye contact. From the outside, everything looked fine. But after that, silence. Not because she didn't understand English, not because she didn't know words, but because after hi, her mind went empty. She would stand there, hands still, eyes slightly down, waiting for the moment to pass. And I could see it in her face. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't careless. She was trying very hard to not do something wrong. So one day, I spoke to her quietly, not in front of the class, not to correct her, just to understand. And she said something very honest. She said, "Teacher, I panic after hello." That sentence stayed with me because it wasn't about English, it was about fear. So I didn't give her more vocabulary, I didn't teach her new grammar. I gave her one rule, just one. After hi, say the same small sentence every time. No choosing, no thinking, no pressure, just the same sentence.
She chose, "Nice to see you." And that choice mattered. Not because it was a beautiful sentence, not because it was advanced English, but because it felt safe. It didn't ask her to explain anything. It didn't ask her to be funny or smart. It just allowed her voice to stay in the moment. And that safety changed everything.
At first, it felt strange to her. She told me, "My heart still beats fast." And I said, "That's okay. Say it anyway." So she did, every time. "Hi, nice to see you." Some days her voice was quiet, some days it shook a little, but something important happened. Her brain finally knew what came next. There was no question, no panic, just a path. And when the brain sees a path, it relaxes.
And that relaxation is powerful, because when fear goes down, the voice comes up. Not suddenly, not loudly, but steadily. She didn't become confident overnight. She didn't start long conversations, but she stopped disappearing. She stayed. And staying is a big step.
A few weeks later, something changed, very quietly. She came to class one day and said, "Hi, nice to see you." And then she added one more line, without planning it, without forcing it, just naturally. And when she realized what she had done, she smiled. Not a big smile, just a small one. But that smile meant everything, because it wasn't about English, it was about presence.
That's the part I love. She didn't say, "I'm fluent now." She didn't say, "I'm confident." She said something much more real. She said, "I don't freeze anymore." And that's huge, because freezing is what makes people feel invisible. And one safe sentence helped her feel seen again.
So I want you to hear this story carefully. You don't need many sentences. You don't need new sentences every time. You need one safe sentence your brain can trust. One sentence that says, "I know what comes next." When your brain knows that, it stops panicking. And when panic stops, your voice stays.
And thinking, "That sounds like me." Please remember this. You're not broken. You're not slow. You're just waiting for safety. And safety can start with one small sentence, like "nice to see you," or "how are you?" or I just arrived. Any one is enough.
Because confidence doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from knowing what to do next. And now you do. One safe sentence at a time. Let's slow down for a moment and gently review what we learned today. No pressure to remember everything. No pressure to be perfect. Just take a breath with me. After hi, you don't need perfect English. You don't need clever words. You don't need fast sentences. You don't need confidence first. You only need to know one thing. What comes next?
And what comes next doesn't have to be big. You only need one safe line, a simple comment, a small context sentence, or a light question. That's it. Not 3 at once, not all the time, just one.
Because conversations don't end because your English is bad. They end because your mind goes quiet. And now, your mind doesn't have to guess anymore. You have options, and options create calm.
So if today all you did was listen quietly, that counts. If today you practiced just one sentence in your mind, that counts too. Learning does not need noise. Learning needs safety. And today you gave yourself that.
Remember this, you are not behind. You are not slow. You are learning the gentle way, and the gentle way lasts. That's all you need to remember today. All right, my friends, we're coming to the end of today's lesson. And before we move on, I want to tell you something important. You did well today. Not because your English was perfect, not because you spoke fast, not because you said everything right. You did well because you stayed, you listened, you practiced, even quietly. You allowed yourself to learn without pushing yourself too hard. That matters more than you think.
Many learners leave too early. They feel uncomfortable. They feel unsure. And they tell themselves, English is not for me. But you didn't do that today. You stayed with the pause. You stayed with the silence. You stayed with your voice. And that is where real progress begins. Not loudly, not quickly, but honestly.
Some days English will feel easy. Some days it will feel awkward again. Both days are part of learning. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to sound confident right now. You only need to keep showing up with a little kindness for yourself.
So later today, or tomorrow, try one small thing. After hi, say one sentence, just one, out loud or quietly, or even just in your mind. That one sentence is enough.
Because confidence doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from realizing I can speak and I'm still okay. And every time you practice like this, your voice learns something new. It learns that it's allowed to exist.
Be patient with yourself. Be gentle with your progress. Your English doesn't need pressure. It needs time. One small sentence at a time. Question of the day. Now, it's your turn. And before I ask, I want you to remember something. This is not a test. This is not homework. No one is judging your answer. This is just a small moment to practice together. Question of the day. What is one sentence you can say after hi? Just one line. It could be, nice to see you. How are you? I just arrived. How about you? You don't need to explain it. You don't need to add anything else. Just one sentence. You can write it in the comments. You can say it quietly to yourself, or you can just think it. All of it counts, because every time you do this, your brain learns something important. I don't freeze. I know what to say next. I can stay. And that matters.
In the next episode, we're going to talk about something many learners say but don't really want to say. Stop saying, I'm fine, better English answers. Because when someone asks you, "How are you?" or "How's your day?" so many learners automatically say, "I'm fine." And then the conversation stops.
Not because "I'm fine" is wrong, but because it doesn't help your voice continue. Sometimes you are fine. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you're busy. Sometimes you don't know what to say. And "I'm fine" becomes a habit, not a choice.
In the next episode, we'll practice better natural answers. Not dramatic answers, not long explanations, just simple, honest English you can actually use in real life.
Answers that sound natural. Answers that feel safe. Answers that help the conversation continue, even on days when you feel nervous, even on days when you feel quiet.
So instead of freezing or ending the conversation too early, you'll know what to say next, and your voice can stay.
Before we go, be kind to your voice. It's learning. Some days it will feel easy. Some days it will feel shy again. Both are normal.
Learning a language is not a straight line. It moves forward, it pauses, sometimes it circles back, and all of that is okay. You don't need to hurry. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. Both soft, warm, one small sentence at a time. Speak easy, my friends. We'll take the next step together. Bye-bye now.